Got some stuff.
in case you want to see that.
Nice. All right, cool. All right. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Spread the Positive podcast. I am your host, Trent Denson. Got a really special guest with us today, Miss Helen Bayne. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Awesome. So Helen is a hospitality business training guru. She's got a really amazing story, traveled the world, all the things. So just kind of wanted to have her on, tell her story, and just kind of speak on all the things she has going. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Trent.
Absolutely.
Good to be here.
Absolutely. So take us back. What was young Helen into? What were some of your earliest passions? All that type of stuff.
It's always been travel.
Okay.
It's always been experiencing new cultures and really integrating myself. You know, when I was young, we moved quite a bit. So I had the good fortune to learn some languages and be exposed to different cultures and just really enjoyed having those opportunities. Little did I know what it would lead
to. Right. So traveling a lot as a kid, falling in love with that process, and kind of what did that lead you into? Where was school and kind of all of that?
Well, school started here in the U.S.,
okay.
But we moved back to Europe pretty soon after and lived in Holland and then Belgium and England, and then
Dang, wow, all over.
A little bit every few years. It was like, okay, pack up your room, time to move on.
Man.
And different language, different school system. Eventually settled on the U.S. school system, which was real good.
Was that hard? Was that hard for you? Did you just kind of get used to it?
It was just a way of life.
Okay, you just
didn't
know much else.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Interesting.
That was just the way it was.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I didn't realize at the time, one doesn't realize, really how privileged one is to be able to travel, because it wasn't a choice.
Yeah.
It was like, we're
now
going.
we're going. Yep. On to the next.
But I could get an opportunity to see how other people saw life, how they saw their history, how they saw their place in history.
Yeah.
And then being also going to an American school system in a European country, how American expats kind of got used to a different way of life and how they saw the world. And that led me into saying, well, there's a hotel wherever I might land, so let me study hotel management.
Love that. So that was it, hotel management, and you had quite the resume from our previous meeting. I'd known some of it, but not all of the things you had done. So let's get into it. How was that process like?
Well, the study started in Europe because that's kind of where I was, and it was in Switzerland. And at the time, all the schools were teaching in French or German, and I was more comfortable in French. So that's where I got my hotel degree.
Okay.
Undergrad.
In French?
Wow. My French was a little better than my English at the time, but
wow.
That's
wild.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was fun.
So got the degree.
And then came back to the U.S. because really the U.S. is the land of opportunity. And as much as it was great living in Europe, I wanted a career. And I wanted to be general manager of a largest hotel by the time I was 30. So the place to do that, I decided, was Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And that's where I settled. And things were going along really well for a time, and then met somebody, and we thought, let's take a vacation and go to the Caribbean.
There you go.
Some nice weather.
Right. Switch it up a bit.
Absolutely. We landed there on a full moon night.
Okay.
And full moon nights in the Caribbean are big time party nights.
Okay.
And we looked around. We were like, let's get out of the
hustle and bustle. Yeah, right. Yeah, slow it down a bit. Island life. Wow.
And we thought for a year or two.
Yeah.
We never thought we'd make it a way of life, but that's what it became.
Nice.
And I was fortunate after a couple of years to be hired by Wyndham Resorts.
There you go.
They had those down in the Caribbean, and little did I know I was breaking a glass ceiling.
There you go.
Because they'd never hired a woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The main question was, would I be able to manage, especially the men there? They had,
Yeah,
and from my point of view, it was like I'd been living there, I'd been doing that, so not a big deal.
that's awesome.
But it was fun. Started a family, and so we moved eventually to Puerto Rico. My Spanish got a lot better.
There you go.
Also, first woman GM in Puerto Rico,
Wow.
which was great. It was great for business.
Yeah, I bet.
Because, headline news, so everybody had to come and see, could she really do it?
Oh, wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
How was that? I mean, was that welcome? I mean, did you just take it head on, or were you a little nervous about it, or?
Always nervous, but always positive.
There you go. There you go.
I'll make
Spread the
it-
positive. Let's go.
Absolutely. You have to be positive because people are, at their core, they're good. At the
Right.
core, everyone wants the same thing.
Facts.
They want to make a living, but they want to live well.
Mhm.
They want to have opportunities. And that's where I saw kind of my coaching and training start, because I put together some coaching and training programs so that my talent, younger talent and talent that wanted to move up, could move into my positions and other positions.
Nice.
So I would spread that word too, and we would be an employer of choice.
There you go.
Which is something you want to be today, but
Yeah, definitely.
you
You're
want to.
trend setting back then too, huh?
It doesn't really change.
Yeah, right. Well, that's amazing. So from there, or I guess just hospitality's been the passion since day one. You're breaking ceilings, you're trend set, you're doing all the things in the Caribbean. What's next, or what else happens?
Things happen in life.
Yeah, right.
And it was time for a change. And the change came in the form of a phone call or an email at the time, probably, from a friend of mine in Switzerland who was at a hotel school.
Okay.
It was an international one. They were now teaching in English.
Nice.
And they were partnered with an American university. So the students got a bachelor's degree in business and a bachelor's degree in Swiss hospitality.
Wow.
And so I moved back to Switzerland for a few years.
Wow.
And managed the undergrad program there and continued what now was, yes, hospitality, but that coaching and training and education.
Yeah.
And they kindly financed my master's degree.
Wow.
In education and leadership coaching.
That's amazing.
But it was time to come back to the US.
Okay. And that's kind of, is that where you transitioned into what you're kind of doing now?
Yep. That's
So,
how I came to Murfreesboro.
oh wow, from Switzerland to
Yes.
Murfreesboro. Wow,
Yes.
what the
Yes.
that's quite the transition too. So yeah, nowadays you're coaching, consulting, training, all of the things hospitality. But as we've kind of talked about in other conversations, hospitality goes kind of across the board, right? Like pretty much any business has some degree of customer service and making sure people are happy and all that. So can you just kind of speak on that?
Yeah, I found, especially through COVID, which, there has to be something positive about COVID.
Right.
The positive was that more people became aware of the fact that, yes, that we're all in a service industry. And in one form or another, we have to attract our customers. We have to be kind. We have to be open. We have to be service oriented and hospitable. Even found that out in church the other day when the priest started his sermon by saying, "We're in hospitality." And I was like, wow.
There you go. Right. Across the board.
I know, it was great. It was affirmation that, yes, I'm on the right track.
Right.
So I got some clients when COVID kind of dealt me a little blow there last year, and all of my fledgling business prospects disappeared, that insurance companies, IT companies, marketing, those businesses, business owners, and the growing companies, they were looking to have best practices.
Right.
How do we do that? How can we get our employees to be more open and welcoming, and also in writing, in communication? Because nowadays it's not texting, is it? And on the phone and verbally, but how do you follow up? Sometimes you have to write a letter.
Right.
Sometimes you have to have those opening phrases. How do you really do that? And then on the business side, for the companies, especially around here that are growing, how can they put together programs? What framework is there to engage the employees that they have and to prepare them for that next level,
Right.
to be managers, to be supervisors, and at the same time have enough time to go out and do the marketing and grow your business. So
Wow.
time management comes into it.
Yeah. Just all the things that, I mean, entrepreneurship in general comes down to hospitality in a lot of ways. It's really cool. And you mentioned positive a bunch of times. So like let me get into some of the typical questions I always ask. How do you, or what are some of I always call it tools in the toolbox, but what are some of the tools in the toolbox for you to maintain a positive mindset or outlook, even in the difficult situations like COVID and all that?
People will always want to travel, going back to hospitality and tourism, as soon as possible. And Tennessee's been great at taking advantage of that. If you can't travel outside the state, you can't travel outside of your community, you still look for ways of taking advantage of new experiences.
Right.
And that's what tourism is. It's all about the experience. So I found that that's what people were looking for. And if I could get in a niche and help people, even just talking to them, how do I confront this problem? What do you see as a possible way forward?
Yeah.
And that's, that is all part of coaching, which is underpinned by these theories that have been researched for years. And it's all part of tourism.
Right.
You want to find ways to make things work.
There you go.
You want to find ways to make people's lives better.
So just changing the scenery up.
Yep.
Love that.
But still stay the same, the business principles, but you want to think about everyone's well-being.
Right. That's amazing. And you're super involved with the community. You're out, you're mentioning Rotary this morning and you're at all networking events. We cross paths quite a bit at networking events. So why is that important to you? Why is being part of the community so important, and, helping people when you can with your expertise and all that?
Well, on a personal side, being new in the area, it's a way to connect and to get to know people. Also that I can kind of, it's a little, not a good word, but to educate them on what is hospitality.
I like that.
How broad is that? What areas of your life does it touch? And being able to talk to them to give that aha moment, when you're talking about hospitality and all of a sudden I say, yeah, but you do that as well.
Right.
And what's the best experience you had when you were traveling? What did you like the best about it? And just getting them excited about their lives and their experiences.
I love that. Love it. What else? What else do you have going on these days? How can people reach you? Where can we, how can we support?
They can reach me best through LinkedIn. I have a profile there, and some of my work is on there also. And I don't have a website. I find LinkedIn and through the specific groups of hoteliers that it works quite well. My email address, which is a long email address, is available.
Okay.
It's
got it down here.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to put that in there.
Okay. And just to reach out and call me then, because my phone number is also on there. That I provide, complimentary consulting. This morning, actually, I had a phone call from someone I've done a little bit of work for, and he was stuck on a problem. And he said, can you just help me out with this? I'm happy to help out.
I love that.
I'm happy to do that for anybody who's stuck somewhere. Tomorrow morning, also, I'm going to go see someone who has a company that's growing, and she just needs to have that reassurance that she's doing things the right way, or what other tools could I help her with?
Right.
And what I find in networking is that the more I can help other people through that word of mouth, just talk to Helen and she can help you out there.
Right.
I can get that done. That's how I got some of the marketing IT company that I did some work for. I started just giving them some hints as to what questions can you ask when you only have 10 minutes on a Zoom call to interview someone?
There you go. Oh yeah. Yeah, we were talking about it, and it worked really well.
And it worked really well.
You
But
want to shout them out?
Sure. It's Borough Business Labs.
I've heard of those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was really cool.
It's a great bunch of guys.
Yeah.
They were 3 competitors who
Mhm.
came together and decided to be partners.
Right.
And they've just been having great synergies and growing. So they wanted to hire an intern,
Yeah.
but they only had 10 minutes in a Zoom call.
I love that.
So I gave them those couple of questions.
And
I
like
told,
it worked. It worked perfectly. Yeah. That's amazing. So that's the stuff you can do for folks, and just yeah, that's really cool. And an example like Borough Business Labs is so like right now, and it can definitely translate across all of the business sectors. So that's really cool. Another thing we kind of always like to ask our guests on the way out, we call it the grateful for. 4 things you're most grateful for right now. What you got?
Right now,
Yep.
just being here.
Nice.
Being in good health,
Mm-hmm.
which is always something to be grateful
Mhm.
for. Having the opportunity to start a new business, which is very exciting for me. And having the opportunity to spread the positive.
There
of
you
course,
go.
Trent.
There you
I mean,
go.
that's got to be there.
Yes,
It's got to be there.
Yes, ma'am.
But
Awesome.
in hospitality, you have to be positive. People always say, "Oh my gosh, what do you do with complaining customers and clients?" Well, you help them out.
Yeah.
And then you
Listen, right? Listen.
That's number one,
Yeah.
always.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Love that. Well, any closing remarks? Anything else?
No, just tourism. I went to the governor's conference that was here and listened to the Commissioner of Tourism speak, and he really was very dynamic and very uplifting. Nice. And said, hospitality is real money, and he harps on that quite a bit.
Yeah,
he emphasizes it a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And people forget it's the number 2 industry in Tennessee.
Wow.
And the way to increase that is to be positive and show how many good things for how many different people at different economic levels, societal levels, how it can touch and improve their lives.
I love that. That's amazing. Well, Helen, I'm grateful to have you on the show. Grateful to call you friend and have crossed paths and learn more about your business and all the things you're doing. Definitely a great example of all things STP, and grateful to have you on.
Well, thank you again for the invitation, Trent.
Absolutely. That was good. Short and sweet, but yeah.